My name is Kayla Thomas, also known as Sergeant Thomas, and I'm a test prep expert with Study.com. Today, we're going to go over the arithmetic reasoning section of the ASVAB. These are arithmetic word problems that you will be asked to solve when taking your ASVAB. This is one of the 4 sections that will be included in your AFQT score. Also, there are no calculators used in this section. We're going to go over a few examples and how to solve them. All right, you ready? Let's jump into it. Question 1. If the propeller on an airplane rotates at a constant speed of 124 times in 1 minute, how many times would the propeller rotate in a quarter of an hour? So first, we're going to start with highlighting the important parts of the question so we know exactly what we are looking for. So 124 times in 1 minute and a quarter of an hour. So first, we're going to start with figuring out what is a quarter of an hour. 1 hour equals a total of 60 minutes. So a quarter of an hour will equal 15 minutes. And so we need to figure out how we found that. So a quarter of an hour, if we put it into a fraction, is 1/4. So the full 1 would be 60 minutes, and 4th would be what we're dividing it by. So 4 divided by 60. 4 goes into 6 one time. So we bring down our 4. 6 minus 4 equals 2. Bring down our 0, which gives us 20. 4 goes into 20 5 times. So that's how we figured out that a quarter of an hour equals 15. So we're going to write 15 minutes under a quarter of an hour just so that we're keeping track of our numbers. So next we know that 124 times is the constant speed of the propellers. So we need to multiply that by 15 minutes. After we completed the equation, we seen that our outcome came out to 1,860, making our answer B. Question 2. 15 equally sized batteries can power 3 machines for 1 hour each. How many machines can 45 batteries power for 2 hours each? So first, we're going to start with highlighting all the important numbers so we know exactly what we're looking for. We know that 15 batteries are for 3 machines for 1 hour. Well, we want to find 45 batteries. How many machines will they power for 2 hours? So let's start with writing that down. 15 batteries will equal 3 machines for 1 hour. So we want to break this down to the simplest form so we can look at it easier. So we know that 5 batteries will power 1 machine for 1 hour each. But we're trying to figure it out for 2 hours. So we write down our 2 hours for 1 machine. So that will be 10 batteries for 2 hours per machine. So what we want to find out is how many machines will 45 batteries power. So to break it down easier, since we already know 10 batteries for 2 hours, 1 machine, we go by tens. So we'll do 10 batteries, 20 batteries, 30 batteries, and 40 batteries. They will all be for 2 hours, but now we just need to figure out how many machines will each of them power. So if we go in order, it'll be 1 machine for 10, 2 machines for 20, 3 machines for 30, and 4 machines for 40 batteries. But we want to figure out how many machines for 45 batteries. So let's move our equation over. So 40 batteries equals 4 machines for 2 hours each. We know that 10 equals 1 machine, but we only have 5 batteries left over. So 45 batteries for 2 hours would only power 4.5 machines. As you can see, the 5 batteries equals 1 machine for 1 hour. So 4.5 machines will be powered. But we cannot power a machine for half of the time. So we would need to round. 5 and below, let it go. 6 and above, give it a shove. So that means you will only have 4 machines powered, making our answer B. All right, let's move on to question 3. A used car costs $15,000. If it depreciates by 10% per year, how much will it be worth after 3 years? So first, we're going to start with highlighting the important number so we know what we're looking for. 10% per year. That's important because per year is going to make this a compounded equation. We know that the initial cost will be $15,000, and we're looking for the amount over 3 years. So we're going to start with writing the initial cost down. So we know we're starting, the car cost $15,000 in total. And we want to find how much does it depreciate within 3 years. So we're going to start with writing $15,000, and we need to find 10% of $15,000. So we know 10% will be decimal point 10. And in order to multiply this equation and get the correct number, we want to move the decimal point over to the right 2 spaces. And now we will begin with the multiplication. Once we find the answer to this, now we moved our decimal point over to the right twice. So now we need to move the decimal point back over to the left twice. So once we move the decimal point back over, that means our answer will be 1,500 total. So that is 10% of 15,000. Next, we're going to have to subtract this from our initial cost, which was $15,000. That's how we figure out how much the car will be worth after 1 year with a 10% depreciation. So the year 1 amount will be $13,500. That's how much the car will be worth after 1 year with a 10% depreciation. Now we need to figure out how much the car will be worth after 2 years with another 10% depreciation from the year 1 amount, not the initial amount. So we will do the exact same process again, where we move our decimal point over 2 times to the right in order to find the amount of the 10% of 13,500. Now we move our decimal point over to the left twice, and we'll get a 10% depreciation of $1,350. We're going to subtract that from our year 1 amount, which was $13,500. And this is how we will find our year 2 amount of worth for the vehicle. And now we have a total of $12,150. And that will be our year 2 amount with another 10% depreciation from our year 1 amount. Now we will repeat this process with our year 2 amount with finding 10% of that amount. So we'll write down $12,150 and we'll first find 10% of that amount. Then we'll subtract it, and then we'll have our year 3 amount. 10% of our year 2 amount will be $1,215. We're going to subtract that from our year 2 amount, $12,150, and this is how we will find our year 3 amount for the vehicle. And our year 3 amount will come up to $10,935. That will be our year 3 amount of the vehicle after depreciating 10% from each year, which makes our answer C. Okay, question 4. If you have a bag of marbles, 1 out of every 7 marbles is red. The others are evenly split between green and blue. If the bag has 490 marbles, how many are blue? So we're going to highlight the important numbers so we know 1 out of every 7 is red, and we know that they are in sets of 7. Then we also see that they are evenly split between green and blue, your remaining number. Now we have 490 marbles total, and we're trying to find how many are blue. So first we know they're out of 7, and we know exactly how many are red out of the 7. So 1 out of 7 would be the fraction. Now we know what is left over is green and blue colors. They're evenly split. So 1 out of the 7 is red, meaning we have 6 out of the set left. They're evenly split, so that means 3 are green, 3 are blue. So we're going to write that down so that we are tracking. So we know that there are 490 marbles total, and we know they are out of 7. And we know that 1 out of every 7 is red. So we're going to divide 7 into 490 to figure out how many of these marbles are red. So we came out with 70. So 70 of the marbles would be red. Now we know that there's 490 total. So now we are going to subtract 70 from 490, which will give us a total of 420. So that is how many marbles are left over. We know that they're evenly split between blue and green, so we're going to divide that into half. So that'll tell us how many blue marbles we have and how many green marbles we have inside of our bag totally. And we have 210. So 210 blue and green. So our answer would be D because there's 210 blue marbles in the bag. Thank you so much for going over these problems with me. I hope they helped. If you are looking for more sample questions to help you study for your ASVAB exam, continue to explore this page. Or you can go over to study.com where you'll see once you become a member, you'll have access to hundreds of sample problems, test questions, and lessons that'll help you pinpoint certain areas you need help with on the ASVAB exam. Please like and subscribe, and let me know if there's any specific area you would like to go over to help you study for the ASVAB. Thank you.